now tuned in to the cold, hard truth. Cayman's #1 hard-hitting live podcast show, where we feature some straightforward conversations on political, social, and celebrity news and all things happening in the Cayman Islands and around the world. This show was created to give the people a voice and a means of being involved and informed without any filters. Sometimes it gets crazy, but we always keep it real. We bring you the tea, piping hot, so grab your favorite beverage and join the conversation via WhatsApp at 324-1612. Email tips@CaymanMarlRoad.com. Now, here's your host, Sandy Hill, broadcasting live from the beautiful Cayman Islands.
All right, folks. Good morning. Good morning. I actually don't see Blake and Aaron this morning, so I am waiting to see them. Where are they? Where is everybody? Blake and Aaron, are you there? Anybody? Good morning, Evelyn. How are you? Good morning, Bing. Diamond Princess Sapphire. What's going on? Okay, there we go.
All right, there you go. Hold on the line. We'll tell you how to get your prize. Time is 7:29 right now.
I have some important news for you. Interesting news.
It's Blake and Aaron's Spilling the Tea with Sandy.
Cayman's top news headlines of the day from CMR.
Morning, Sandy. How are you?
Good morning, everyone. How are you?
We are doing A-okay.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
How was court yesterday?
Boring and boring and boring.
Not for you. You were just going to check it out.
Yeah. So I was there for this challenge with Katina Anglin and I guess challenging the government. And
Right.
I got there a little bit late, but it sounds like they were trying to discuss adding colors command to the proceedings, and kind of what documentation needed to be served. So it wasn't really any. There were legal arguments, but not on the substance of what we all really want to hear. So it was pretty boring.
Okay.
Most people would have fallen asleep during court yesterday.
Okay. So
There was
is it going,
no level of excitement there for anybody, trust me, except lawyers, maybe. I don't know.
is it going to get exciting, or you just pick
Well,
the wrong
I sure hope so. Although, to be honest, this is the kind of thing that it's an important constitutional argument for sure, testing the powers of the government. There will be no real excitement. They will make very interesting arguments about limitations and all sorts of stuff, I suppose. But yeah, I don't think there's going to be any fireworks. Court is not normally as exciting as people think. It's just one of those things. Maybe traffic court can get a little bit more exciting, but even that, most people just stand up and say, "Yes, Your Honor."
It's not like Tom Cruise. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth. Not like that.
Yeah, nope.
No.
Definitely not in the English legal system.
I don't think
it just does
I don't
not.
know if the wigs make it more fancy.
Yeah, it just doesn't get that exciting at all.
Do they wear wigs in that court?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Do they wear wigs in that court?
They don't have to anymore. Actually, they removed the requirement a number of years ago.
Yeah.
Is
it because I can't find those wigs anymore?
They're a little old.
Yeah.
So I do see some barristers who come from the UK still do it, but by and large, because the Grand Court doesn't really require it, as I recall. So yeah, most people don't.
That's hilarious.
So what's in the news today besides that?
Today we are waiting to hear the announcement that hopefully tomorrow there will be a press briefing. We've heard that it's coming tomorrow.
Okay.
And of course, that press briefing will give a bigger indication of what's happening in terms of the reopening plans.
Well, they said they would announce a date this week.
Yes, we're supposed to get a.
What's that date going to be? What's the date going to be? What are you hearing?
I'm hearing the 22nd of November.
I've heard that as well.
Me too.
But
and how is that going to work?
Open the border.
Well, I'm sure that's what we will hear come tomorrow. We'll hear the details.
That's a Monday.
I know they've been having a lot of meetings with what are they calling the planning board? Not planning, but the board that they put together to rule out the reopening, which is a combination of private sector, public sector, politicians, like everybody. So I guess we'll find out more details. We just got to be patient.
So who was it on your show? We were talking about it yesterday. You had somebody on your show that was doing projections, and they projected if we opened it now, we would have a peak in December, right?
Yes, I think he said December. So this was epidemiologist. Let me just see if I can get his name. He was very, very interesting to listen to. I mean, it was pretty technical stuff, but he was able to map out based on the numbers exactly.
So here's what I forecast, right? Yes. So you open the borders, and I'm assuming that means dropping the quarantine, and then we peak right around Christmas with the most amount of COVID on the island that can possibly be. And then what do you do with all those people? Do you lock them down at Christmas? So
I think you need to pay attention to how many are in the hospital and how many are just.
So if somebody gets COVID, then do you have to quarantine them until they get over it, or you just let them walk around with COVID? How does that work? Because if we peak at Christmas with COVID here in the Cayman Islands, then there's going to be a lot of people that are being quarantined for Christmas. Yeah. Which doesn't sound fun to me.
Yeah, I think you're going to have to be prepared to self-isolate.
That's what I'm saying. So does that seem like a great time to do it? Right at Christmas?
I mean, I guess the question remains, is there ever a great time to do it?
Exactly. It's
then after that, you say, well, I don't want to be locked down for Valentine's Day. And then I don't want to be locked down for my birthday. And I mean, you can always find a reason.
Yeah. No, it's like the kids just went back to school. Now we're going to be in lockdown. No, there's always something. This is what it does not. No, it's kicking the ball further down. That's all we keep doing. Yeah. If we would have just opened up, we would have got over the first wave before Christmas.
Well, everyone. I agree. Yeah. I agree with you.
However, Aaron. He did say, and I must, I'm going to play a clip this morning from him, but he did say that in fact, even delaying the reopening by a month, which is basically what we would be doing, which gives us an opportunity to continue to increase those numbers, vaccination numbers, would make a significant difference, believe it or not. And, we're going to have to reopen at some point, and we're going to have to peak at some point. And then he said that, there are certain policy decisions that will definitely impact those numbers. So, for example, only allowing vaccinated persons in, is going to be really, really important because, at the end of the day, even if we're peaking, but no one is like seriously ill or we don't have.
So these travelers that are coming in, because every day we see, the update from Dr. Lee.
It's the community transmission that is driving the numbers.
But not right. It is now. But we'll still see a couple of, cases in travelers. Now, is that travelers that are coming in? Are they vaccinated right now or are they unvaccinated?
No, you don't have to be vaccinated.
No?
Right.
No. If you're getting a new work permit.
They never say, though. They never say, hey, it just says 2 travelers. They don't say the travelers are vaccinated or the travelers are unvaccinated. So I'm just curious.
Oh, yeah. They don't really specify that.
If those are breakthrough infections or if those cases are.
Oh, they don't say. They're not dividing that information up. So they are telling us how many of the total number is vaccinated, but they don't say if that's like travelers or community people. So we don't really have that much detailed information. I think that would really be good. Like, I still think that.
So here you go. Yesterday's update was 17 positive test results, 3 positive tests in travelers, 14 in the community. 2 patients are admitted to hospital, are stable, 1 having been there since early September. That's the one, the lady we talked about yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but no one on a ventilator. And also,
so what are those 3 travelers? Are they unvaccinated or are they vaccinated? That's what I'd like to know.
Yeah, we don't. They don't ever give us that detailed information. It would be good if they did, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I would also like to know how many of the eligible people are vaccinated because we know that, for example, 19 of the kids, were on 19 of those positive were kids, but we don't know what percentage of those were in the, like, it's kind of like, it would be great to say you had 15 adults. Of those, this many were vaccinated or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we're still lacking some details. So we had 997 PCR tests since Monday, 17 positive results, 3 positives in travelers and 14 positives in the community. And we still have those 2 that are hospitalized. In fact, yesterday, they did not even send the assets showing how many were vaccinated. I don't know what happened there, but this came in at 5:49 and it only had 1 slide, and that was the vaccine uptake slide. Because normally they do like 3 slides where they'll show you one that shows like the infections and how many of those are vaccinated. We didn't get that yesterday for some reason.
So my in-laws yesterday went and got their boosters, went to the Lions Center, and they said it actually took them quite a long time. By the way, if you're going there, you need to fill out a piece of paper. They weren't handing out a piece of paper. They were very unorganized. It took them very long. And they were, by the time they got back, they were like, I cannot believe what a mess that was. Anyway, but what the point of that is being taken so long because there was a lot of first timers there getting a shot as well.
That's great.
Well, I have to give my
where do your in-laws live? They're in this US?
No, they live here.
Oh, they live here.
Yeah,
okay.
They live here. Yeah, no, they live here. So they went to the Lions Center yesterday. That's what I'm saying. It was a lot of first timers here.
Well, we got the email yesterday that said
booster shots are now open for 50 and over.
50 and over.
No, but so 50 and over. Yeah, 50 and over today. So they went yesterday. They're older than that. But yeah. But you can go.
Guy.
Just FYI, when you go, get the paper, fill out the form so that then you can.
Yeah.
But they only had like 4 people doing the inoculation. So it was, that's a problem. When you have less people that were taking it up, They're going to scale it back, and then more people are going to start taking. They're going to need to add more people.
We had a guy here who is at higher risk. He has diabetes on our staff, and he had a doctor's note and took it to get a booster. Doctor said you should go get a booster. He waited in line at the different queues for over an hour. Got to the final queue where they were going to vaccinate him, and the person there was like, "Sorry, we're not doing." He's like, "What are you doing here?" Well, I got a doctor's note. Well, that doesn't matter. We're not doing you right now. And they kicked him out after an hour of waiting, and he had a doctor's note.
I've heard of that happening to a few other people, and I think that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Why? Like, we're not that's just.
And he had seen a few people along the way of waiting. They were asking him, why are you here? I have a doctor's note. Okay, move to the next line, kind of thing. And then when he got to the final line to get the shot, the booster, he's at a high risk. The doctor said, go get a booster shot. And then they told him no, kicked him out.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. In fact, someone before also mentioned that their husband, who has a comorbidity, because he actually has congenital heart disease or something, he was turned away. I mean, this is crazy, because he only is afforded something like 30% protection because of his pre-existing situation. Plus, he was on immunosuppressant, so that made it even worse in terms of how effective it could be. And so, he went in for his booster, and they told him, no, it's not your turn yet. I'm thinking that's a little bit. Like, I think they need better discretion, whoever's making that decision.
But that's ridiculous. Like, first they're like, everyone come in. We're trying to get this is the back and forth. It's either
why turn people away?
Just give people, if they're especially and you're.
I understand that there is that priority, and I don't think we're getting close to like running out of vaccine, but I do understand that the priority is definitely the older people, but also the HSA, the head of the HSA did say on Friday of last week, it was anyone at the time over 60, clinically vulnerable people, and healthcare workers. So if you're, if you have a serious comorbidity like diabetes, heart disease, whatever, that makes you clinically vulnerable. Plus, he walked in with a doctor's note. I cannot believe that they turned him away. So I think that we're going to highlight this with Ms. Lizette this morning and let her know that she needs to have a word with her staff. Yeah.
Really quick, I know we're running long, but did you do this show last night did you have the heart folks on last night to talk about corona? And what came out of that?
Get vaccinated. I mean, like, seriously, we had 3 cardiologists on, some of them sports cardiology is their field of expertise. And, people were on speaking specifically about, like, I take this medication, or I have this type of heart issue, whatever. And for every single person, they're like, get vaccinated. They know of no pre-existing condition that they would say, unless you're allergic to the actual vaccine itself, which is, you'll have like anaphylactic response sort of thing. They don't, not recommend it for anyone that is of that age. So they're like, in fact, that's precisely why you want to get it. Because these are the types of things, so there was no contradiction between like, okay, I take this heart medication. Does that mean I can't take the vaccine? They're like, no, there's none of that. You need to get vaccinated, because they know that people who get COVID have a really higher instance of heart-related issues, including myocarditis. So your chances of having a myocarditis episode and responding really, really badly to that from just getting COVID is far worse than, the few people who've gotten it as a result of the vaccine, which is mostly younger men under 30 or 30 and under. So the repeated message is, you guys are on the right track. You've got to encourage people to get vaccinated. Speak to your primary physician, because there's like one person asking about very specific allergies, and they kind of explained how it worked. Like, it's not like, you're going to be allergic to the mRNA, but there's other things in it that make it work in the way that it does that you might have an allergic reaction to. So you need to go through the ingredient list, but speak to your primary physician about that. And they can certainly point you in the right direction. But every single response was like, this is why you want to get vaccinated.
Do you have, is that show on your Facebook? You can go back and watch it.
It's on Facebook. It's on YouTube. And I think as of this morning, it already had over 3,000 views on Facebook. So people can definitely go back and have a look at that as well. 3.3.
You're getting a lot of comments already about this whole Lion Center topic. So I'm sure that'll be interesting to talk about on your show.
Yeah.
So.
And we've got Impact Wednesdays, just FYI, Heather Bodden is coming on this morning. And we're also going to be talking about the Caribbean Connection Wednesday. So a lot of crazy things going on in the Caribbean at the moment: kidnappings, abduction of children, cults, and murders and cults and stuff. So we're going to break it all down and have it make sense.
Well, sounds like a fun family show.
Just in time for Halloween, all the crazy stuff comes out.
Well, that's where we break away.
Yeah.
Sandy, have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.
Have a good one, guys. Bye. Yeah, it's been crazy. What can I tell you? Good morning, everyone. Evelyn, Olivia, Siobhan, how are you? Joelle, thank you for tuning in. Deanne is here. Jonathan has got it locked in. Bing, thank you. Good morning. We've got Marshall. Elijah. Yes. Good morning. I've never seen you here before. Good to see you. Diamond Princess here every single morning. Bing says, good morning, Grand Cayman. Stay safe. Paul, how are you? Nice to see you. Manuel says the Cayman Islands, the perfect bubble. Well, we can't stay in that perfect bubble forever. So the bubble is about to get burst here shortly, folks. Good morning, Cheryl. Good morning, Felicia. Good morning, Wee Wee. Good morning, Diamond Princess. Again, says glad for this topic this morning. We're going to be talking about a lot of things. Manuel says, will the borders ever reopen? Yes, it's coming. It's coming, Manuel. Soon come. Elizabeth, buenos dias. Joelle says, good morning, Sandy. I'm the brother of Katie Morris. I'm so appreciative of you helping her get my niece into the Cayman Islands along with the premiere. I thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, family is important, folks. And I was thinking about that little girl, and I said to myself, oh my gosh, I cannot imagine that I'm speaking to Lizette at this time. She's saying she can't believe this. They actually turned this guy away. I was thinking about it. I was like, I can't imagine that you haven't seen your 8-year-old in 2 years. Younger kids have a very different sense of time. And 2 years is a long time in the life of a 6 to 8-year-old child. Like, I'm sure this poor baby is just like, thank God for modern technology. At least you can call them on WhatsApp. They can kind of see you and that sort of thing. But yeah, it's just hard to be separated from a child for that long, not be able to see them for holidays. You can't travel. They can't travel. Very, very difficult situation, Joelle. So I'm so glad that it all worked out. Big shout out as well to Primrose Moore. She is Katie's aunt, and she was also helpful in the situation. So yes, folks, these are very trying times at best. I mean, some of us have lost loved ones and we weren't even able to attend the funerals in a normal way. Like, we have never had this type of situation before, right? None of us have ever been through this. And so it's a very, very tricky situation. And I think any way in which we can help each other, we definitely need to do so. So you're welcome, Joelle. I'm glad that your niece is here. When she's out of quarantine, I'll definitely meet her. Jennifer is here. Miss Alice Amiri is here. Amiri says, I can't wait to be able to travel without quarantining. By the way, I'm going to get my booster today. Good job. So yes, booster shots are available. They've just dropped the age for 50 and over now. So if you're eligible for that booster shot, by all means, go get it. Carol has been looking forward to her booster shot. So hopefully, Carol, You can go get yours as well. Carol says, best comment on CNS. You have to go through the pandemic to reach the endemic, and we're going through our own pandemic that the rest of the world has been through. Yes. I mean, here's the thing. I think it was very unrealistic of people to think that we would skip infections. And this is what happens when you create an unrealistic bubble. And people live in this fairy tale land, thinking that, we will remain in a bubble forever. It was never meant to be, folks. And anyone who told you differently, just wasn't being genuine with you. Now, here's the thing. I know there's a lot of political games are being played. So I saw yesterday the opposition put something out about, oh, yeah, they're reopening, but we haven't heard a plan. Well, maybe you should wait until they actually tell you what the plan is. You can't reopen without a plan. So they must have a plan. The politics of it all is ridiculous, first of all. And I think that at a time like this, you should play a supportive role, just like the previous opposition played a supportive role to the previous government. They should be doing the same, but they really seem hell-bent on always being the opposer just for the sake of opposing. No other reason. Because that press release yesterday that they put out about, we need to hear the details of the plan, really? I mean, I understand that this government is even inviting them to be part of the process so that they're in the know, so that they're informed and they can inform their constituents. But they're just over in their little salty corner, always being super salty. I just am like, on the best of days, I don't know what it is that they're doing. They're so duplicitous. The opposition is just, someone was telling me recently during the election how they were at a function for Mr. McTaggart. And, he was making this big comment to everyone about Mr. McKeeva Bush. And, what McKeeva did to that woman, blah, blah. And I was like, wow, these guys are something else. If they had such strong opinions about the situation, we certainly never heard it when it was a meaningful time to hear it. It was, when it was politically expedient for them to then make this because they'll get 1 or 2 extra votes from their female constituents, that they were making these sorts of comments. I don't like people like that. If you're a principled person, if you have no principles, then fine. We know people like that. Okay. They have no principles. That's why some people I have no expectations of. And when I have no expectations of them, they can't let me down. So, it's like Mario, whatever Mario Rankin does over there, he never can manage to let me down. I know him and Johan used to be really, really close. And then, he did his shadiness with Johan. Everybody's like, oh man, I can't believe what he did to Johan. He, they were such good friends and blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, maybe Johan was surprised. I don't know. I wasn't surprised by what went down. Basically during the election, they had a huge falling out. There's a big episode where Mario cursed him out and went on at full of beans. Because, Johan wouldn't pay him to help him campaign. And so I wasn't surprised by that. I'm like, do you guys not know that this man is all about his coins and nothing else? He's not, I don't see any principles there that lead him. It's all about attention and coins and money and, So for me, people cannot disappoint me when I don't have any high expectations of them. And there's certain people that you've got to put in that box. If they do something, I'm like, okay, if it's something good, that's great. You give them their accolades for doing whatever positive. But when you really understand their personality, there's always some kind of backstory in terms of what motivates them. They don't do things just for the sake of helping people. These people have never done that, right? They've had opportunities to help people all the time, and they don't do it. It's always like, well, what's in it for me? And I don't like people like that. There was a young lady, I'm not going to call her name because she'll be calling the show here in a second, looking attention. But, it was the same. This was many, many years ago, back in 2009. It was the same reason why I pulled away from her, because she was always like, oh, I'm going to call on the radio about this and this and this and this. But as I got to know her more as a person, I recognized that those concerns were not genuine. It was all about bringing attention to herself. Like, oh, look who just called in on the radio kind of thing. right? Because she had political aspirations or whatever. Some people are just attention whores. They're just attention seekers. And so I wasn't feeling it. And I said, you know what? Sometimes you get painted with the same brush, the people that you associate with, even though you might not be friends. If people see you with this person enough times, they're like, well, if the person's like that, then Sandy's probably like that too. And I was like, I don't want to be tainted with the brush of being a fake person, of, just in this for the attention. I don't help people for attention. So I was like, yeah, I don't really want to hang out with you. If I see you, let's say hi, whatever, keep it cordial. And it is what it is. So I have no expectations of certain people. Politicians, the vast majority of them go into the box of, oh, I have no expectations of you, Joe, because we know politics. But I still am a little bit disappointed in the opposition because they were treated with a certain degree of courtesy, right? When they were in power. Trust me, there was a lot that the opposition could have been saying during the lockdown. We were not in a perfect situation when we got locked down. That government made its fair share of mistakes, left, right, and center. And the opposition said, listen, these are unprecedented times. Let's give them an opportunity. Mistakes will happen no matter who's in power. So we're not going to hyper focus on those mistakes. We will give them a chance to work through it. Their same travel time is making mistakes. They had breaches of quarantine. I mean, remember the big one with the Canadian couple and what happened there? The government, the political arm, this is where people forget what transpired. They had passed this new legislation about the stricter fines and didn't bother to actually have it gazetted. So when the Canadian couple breached, there was nothing we could do except fine them. The judge, the courts, could only fine them $1,000 each. And it was after that breach, by the way, CMR exposed that breach, that then the government jumped up and said, oh yes, we need to gazette these regulations. And now they want to sit in judgment of others as though they were so perfect. Oh, please. Good morning, Miss Sue. Good morning, Vernita. Lily's here. Thank you. Carol says, yes, she's going to get her booster today. Hi, Louie. Says, good morning to CMR, the number one massive. Louie, I ran into your sister yesterday, quite coincidentally, and she identified herself, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have the phone in the car, but we're going to do a little proper presentation to her. But isn't that funny? She's like, my brother keeps messaging me about you. And I'm like, well, who's your brother? She's like, Louie. And I said, oh my God. Yes, Darlene. They definitely need to fix that. So Ms. Lizette has informed me that she's looking into this right now. This isn't good. This is not good at all. Let me see here now. Yeah, she's going to follow up with that situation. And like I said, this is not the first person I know that they've turned away. So what are they doing? Why are they turning people away? I know that poor guy must have been pissed. You stand in line for an hour for someone to tell you. As a matter of fact, Lizette's saying that a doctor's note isn't even required. But he had a doctor's note. Come on now. Sure. All right. So we've got Tommy here. Miss Emma says, is Lion Center the only place they can get the booster? That's stupid. Why can't they use like other places in each district? I am hoping that they're going to be rolling out other places as well, but let me ask the question. I was going to have a look at the schedule. Let me just have a look here at the HSA schedule for vaccinations. I think they updated it this week. So they did a whole thing on lateral flow tests. Let me see here. So the schedule for October was just amended. Now today's the 20th. So Lion Center seems to be boosters, third dose available to all healthcare workers. So now they need to amend that to 50 plus and clinically are extremely vulnerable. See criteria below. Yeah, they seem to be primarily at Lion Center and Cayman Bay. And I'll tell you why I think that is. They did have earlier in the month the Newlands Community Office. That was the 18th. No, that's the 25th. When's the 25th? Oh, that's coming up. So if you're in the Newlands area, you can do it on Monday. And they have Prospect on Thursday, and then Cayman Bay on Saturday the 30th. So there are a few other locations. Let me just ask them to update this with the 50 plus, and then we'll post that again. So there are a few locations, but I agree there needs to be more district locations. I think what's been happening though, Emma, is that the Lion Center has been primarily used because of the high number of individuals who are having to get vaccinated now, or not having to, but, or wanting to get vaccinated. So Miss Sue says, no way, ridiculous, poor guy, so unfair, not going to sit for an hour at the Lion Center. We'll wait for a booster to go Cayman Bay. Yeah, that was a mess. So let's get that together, folks. Like I said, you're only as good as the weakest link in your organization or in your processes, right? So Jade says lipstick day. So Jade, thank you for noticing. This is a slightly different color of lipstick today. I always try to put on a little, I don't really wear, as you guys can see, a ton of makeup or anything, but I do try to put on a little lipstick here and there. So I put on a slightly different color today. So thank you, Jade, for listening. Talk What You Know, joining us on YouTube. By the way, our original YouTube channel came back online yesterday. So I see 32 people there. There's 9 people in the backup channel. We'll just keep them both going because you never know when. I didn't even bother to look at YouTube to see if they released that video or whatever and what they had to say about it, because we just appealed it and we just wait. I can't be bothered. Daisy, good morning. Nicola, good morning. Kay's here. Janelle says, good morning, Sandy. I'm high risk. All of my doctors told me to get vaccinated, so I did. And I have a little trouble with my arm, so I decided not to get the booster. When you say a little trouble with your arm, I have 2 questions for you. Number 1, what does that mean? Because I don't really know what that means. And did you report it to the HSA in terms of any side effects? And when you say a little, can you give us more details on what you mean? Because arm soreness is to be expected. So again, if I were your physician, this is what I would say. When you say you had a little trouble with your arm, how would that compare to you having a little trouble on a ventilator? I'm just saying, you're saying that you're high risk and all of your doctors told you to get vaccinated. To me, that means that you should definitely get the booster. Even if you had a little soreness in your arm for a couple of days, that would be the least of your concerns, really, when you think about it. Check out last night's show, folks. Cardiologists, Janelle, people who are extremely sick, have heart disease and all sorts of stuff. The cardiologist kept saying last night, get vaccinated. Jade says getting this booster reminds me of when I was about to go to high school. We had to get a booster. We couldn't be allowed in school. Jerome says that the PCR test is expensive in Jamaica. Yes. That's what Katie was saying about her daughter as well. She's like, Sandy, if I have to go and redo this PCR test, this is how many $1,000 it is in Jamaica to get the one that will actually be accepted by Cayman. I didn't know that there was different PCR tests. I don't even know what they're doing in Jamaica. But yeah, these things are not cheap. And if you're on a budget, you've got to kind of plan for all of these things. So thank you. The cult thing in Jamaica is crazy. We're going to talk about that here in a second. But I'm waiting on Miss Heather to come on. She's due on any minute now. So yesterday, let's talk about this for a little bit. Yesterday, there was some discussion about Colin Powell, and everybody's like, oh, look, Colin Powell died and he was vaccinated. Because, you know, the anti-vaxxers, if there's 1,000 people that die who are unvaccinated, they don't ever acknowledge those people and they don't talk about it. But, you know, you have 3% breakthrough cases, even up to, let's give them up to 10%, right? So anybody in that 10%, they jump on it and they're like, oh, look, this person was double vaccinated and they died. And it's like, you do know that no one ever said that a fully vaccinated person will not die. So there's a video I want to show you guys in relation to that I think is pretty good. So Deep Blue Sea says the PPM is just upset at not being in power. They'll burn it all down to rule the ashes. And remember, we said that not long after the election. There's a saying about the devil would rather rule in hell than to serve in heaven. And that's exactly the thing, Deep Blue Sea, is they don't care. Their lust for power is so great that they will burn it all down. And to me, that is just so dangerous. I mean, people like that make me very, very uncomfortable because you can't burn it all down. Jade is laughing at that terminology I use there. Miss Emma says they need to change this one man, one vote. It's a small enough island that people get to vote on campaign platforms instead of voting for my friend because he bought me 2 plates of food and a damn blender. Well, unfortunately, Miss Emma, that has always existed, even before one man, one vote, except you were voting a whole team in of individuals because the leadership told you to, and because they give you a refrigerator, sofa, blender, or whatever. So vote buying is real. And there are people in this community who are easily swayed by the most ridiculous of things. They don't see the bigger picture. None at all. And I've seen that firsthand. They're like, oh, well, this person's giving me a yard full of fill. What are you going to do for me? And it's like, really? How about we fix some of the issues in this country so that you don't have to go beg a politician for anything? You can work, you know, but we do have an element of laziness around the place. And they would rather have handouts than get up and get on their game. You know, that's why they're over there being salty on their other little platforms, because nobody gave them a handout. Nobody gave them a board appointment where they could sit down and just make money on the back end. Kind of crazy, but it's true. Louis says, could you see the resemblance? She's better looking than me. She's a very lovely lady. So Miss Darlene says, tell the person it's better to get the booster. High risk is why we all need a third shot. Yes. Yeah, Emma, I'm very concerned that I keep hearing that they're turning people away. This can't make any sense. Emma says, I work frontline and spend a lot of time at the hospital now, but don't have 2 hours to waste in a line to be turned away. And yes, I'm over the qualified age. Morning, Peter. All right, so let's have a look at this video about Mr. Powell. And then I'm going to tell you guys a little bit here in a second. Heather's is going to be coming on. She is on a new computer, so let me just give her some back-end assistance. All right, so watch this. Cases are exploding in the UK, so we're going to talk about that situation as well. But let's have a look at this explanation.
Hey, rest in peace, Colin Powell. Very sad. He was a very influential figure throughout my life because, you know, I grew up at the time of the first Gulf War. He was Secretary of State, George H.W., you know, the whole thing, right? So we don't need to rehash all that. But what we do need to talk about is how a lot of people in the sort of anti-vaccine side of the discussion are using his death because he contracted COVID as evidence that the vaccines don't work. So he was apparently fully vaccinated. He and his wife both contracted COVID. His wife got monoclonal antibodies, got better. He did not. Now, so what's going on? Well, it turns out it's important to know that he had multiple myeloma, which is a blood cancer of immune cells. So he was immunocompromised on a couple levels. He was 84, which puts him in that category of immune compromise. You just don't have a very robust immune system at that age. So even if you're vaccinated, he would be exactly the candidate who would benefit from a booster because that age group doesn't generate as much immune response in response to the first 2 shots. Now, the rest of the population, 65 and under who are doing okay, don't have immune compromise, they're probably fine without boosters, right? Which we've done shows on. But Colin Powell was in the advanced age group, probably would have benefited from a booster, and actually was, I think, scheduled to get one. So the fact that he got an infection, which they call a breakthrough, it's like, no, it's the vaccine is not perfect, right? So you add to that the fact that he had multiple myeloma, which, by the way, is an incredibly dangerous risk factor for having complications from COVID, regardless of vaccination. But then vaccination itself in the setting of immune compromise means the vaccine is going to be less effective because your immune system is less effective. One thing I really like to impress on people is that people think there's this dichotomy between doing well naturally, whether it's natural infection, whether it's natural diet, whether it's avoiding medical interventions, things like that, which, by the way, I'm for, versus the artificial stuff, medicines, vaccines, all of this. But you got to understand, with vaccines, what you're doing is you're taking something very natural and robust and holistic, which is the human immune system, and you're teaching it to do its thing for a particular disease agent, in this case, coronavirus, SARS-CoV-2. And so you, through vaccination, are actually employing a natural process, which is your immune system. If that natural process is impaired through cancer, which is what Colin Powell had, and age, which he was 84, it's going to make it much harder for this to work. Now, so I don't think this says anything about, vaccines as a tool against this disease. What it does say is, yes, elders probably should get a booster. People with immune compromise like Colin Powell should have gotten a booster. That's the population you boost, not everybody else, right? Not just the worried well necessarily. And the second thing about it is that the population spread of coronavirus actually becomes important for people who are vulnerable. So people like Colin Powell, if the entire community was vaccinated at a very high rate, the amount of circulating coronavirus would be less because it replicates less. There's, 5 to 10-fold less infection. And if you do get infected and you have big time symptoms, yeah, you're going to transmit, but your chances of having that happen to you are considerably lower. But the third thing I wanted to say about this is that we do need to understand at the age of 84, and again, this is not just about Colin Powell, it's about anything. Something eventually is going to cause us to die. We are all going to die. You may have delusions that you're never going to die. You may be in your 20s and think, it's not happening to me. You may be one of these singularity people who thinks, no, we're going to cure death. Yeah. Into the foreseeable future, death is a thing. And it's not necessarily the enemy. At 84, with a cancer, something is going to be the tipping point. And those of us who work in internal medicine, who take care of a lot of elders, we see this, whether it's pneumonia, whether it's, an aspiration event where you get a pneumonia, whether it's a massive stroke, whether something is coming for us. And in the case of complex patients in complex situations who are much older, if you have a blood cancer and a virus infects you, a common cold could be the trigger that ends your life. It's something we just have to understand. So we do the best to mitigate risk, but you have to understand, you never eliminate all risk. So that's how I think we should think about this situation. I hope this was helpful. If it wasn't, too bad. I love you guys so much. Please share the video, and we are out.
Okay, folks. So there you have it. You can't really compare someone who has, more than one extreme comorbidity. Poor guy had cancer. I did not know that. Both, ironically, both him and his wife, both fully vaccinated, came down with COVID. So as you can see, she is okay, and he isn't. I think she's in, she's recovering. So quite a sad situation, no matter how you look at it. So we do send condolences to his family. He also was in his 80s. My gosh, he did live a pretty long time. So I was just glaring over some notes on the U.S. news, and it was kind of interesting because they were saying that, what's his name, former president, I guess he's still called President, Donald Trump, was actually being negative about Obama. I mean, about Colin Powell, sorry. And he was making some sort of negative comment, blaming him for the Gulf War or something like that. And I thought, wow, this man has no scruples. He does not care about anything. My God. What a mess. I guess I shouldn't really be surprised. It is what it is, child. All right, so Miss Heather's having some technical difficulties. We will continue the show until she's able to hopefully jump on. We got time. All right, so let's move on then. I guess we'll have to start the discussion about the pastor. What a hot mess, huh? Wow. I couldn't, in a way, I couldn't believe it. And then in another way, it was completely believable when I heard about this cult situation in Jamaica. Nothing, like I said, you know how you have no expectations of certain people? Like certain religious organizations and that sort of thing. Like none of that surprises me anymore. People are crazy. A lot of people are just legit crazy. They're searching for something, and in their search for something, they will believe and do anything. My goodness. So Jonathan says, how come I've never offered anything for my vote? Jonathan, behave yourself. Behave yourself. Lily wants to know, any idea why we have to choose to take the booster of AstraZeneca vaccine or Pfizer? What's the difference? Do you know anything? I'm vulnerable and I need to decide which booster I should take. I wasn't aware that they were actually giving you much of a choice. And I actually had heard that they had run out of AstraZeneca. So that's news to me. I suppose they're giving you a booster for whatever it is that you that they have available. One of the interesting things, Miss Lily, about the booster situation is the FDA has been, I don't think they've given full approval yet, but they've been toying with this idea of, formally giving people approval to be able to take a booster from like another, like mix and mingle your vaccines. And there's some evidence that actually mixing them might indeed be quite beneficial. Unfortunately, Ms. Heather's having some internet issues, so I'm not sure if she's going to be able to join us today. Yes. So there's this mixing and mingling concept of vaccines. This was October the 18th, which was Monday. The FDA is moving to allow people to get a different COVID vaccine as a booster than the original that they received. So there's different reasons why that actually might be happening. Sometimes they're doing it, Miss Lily, because they simply do not have any other options. So there are countries who are doing it because, they essentially only have what they have on hand. And, they want you to take a booster. So let me just see here. So there's that. And then there appears to be some evidence, Ms. Lily, that getting another type of booster could actually give you better protection. So Ms. Darlene says that Jonathan makes her laugh. He is really funny. Wanda says 45 is a disgrace. Yes, he is, Jill. Wicked Trump to make those terrible comments about Colin Powell. He could never hold a candle to him. Oh my God. He only cares about himself. Yeah, another person that, I don't want to overuse the term narcissist, but unfortunately for some people, it is the ideal term, the ideal descriptive. When you hear that, you know what they're all about. And so, yes, President Trump is just, I don't have any expectations of him. He could wake up tomorrow and decide to run through the streets of Washington buck naked. And I'd be here like, okay, not shocked, not surprised, no expectations. So Al Ray says, yes, there's definitely some evidence that immune response could be increased by using a different booster like Moderna, like you took the original Pfizer and then your booster is Moderna and so on. All right, so let's talk about His Excellency Kevin Smith. Definitely this man had to have been a narcissist, child. First of all, let me show you his Facebook page. Who calls themselves His Excellency? I mean, really, Mr. Kevin Smith? Excellency? What makes you excellent? I want to know. Lord have mercy. Really? No, sir. Oh, someone just sent me some photos saying that Colin Powell was a friend of my family. His wife is Alma, and so he's a great man. Oh, those are some nice pictures. Very nice. Of course, Colin Powell had Jamaican connections, folks. Remember? I think both of his parents were Jamaicans, right? He is, another successful immigrant. So thank you so much for sharing that. So here is a cult leader. It's so funny how we only call him a cult leader now that we know what was going on with these poor people. But of course, we were not informed, the general public, we're not generally informed about this dude beforehand. What a hot mess, I tell you. His Excellency Dr. Kevin Smith, where he get this doctor from? Now, you're a narcissist when it's not enough. I'm trying to see if I can increase the size here. When it's not enough that you are His Excellency, you need to add the term doctor in front of it. All likely made up, I'm sure. Jamaica's eminent international ambassador. Really? What the man can give himself titles, so? No, sir. Where he get all that from? Damn. Israel God King 999. What is this madness? Anyway, all I can do is read. So on the 17th, which would have been Sunday, this is when all this madness went down. And I don't know if you guys can see this, but this is what he posted. The ark is loading now. Y'all, I'm not making this stuff up. There's a reason why I went to his page. I'm going to show you videos of what other people are saying. But it's like you need to understand his followers. And that evening, I hear 140 something people actually showed up to get on the ark. Didn't help me understand this. Jesus, please. If you are a Christian and you read the Bible, don't you believe that the ark came already? Well, how are you going to make some fraudster convince you that the ark is coming? What ark? Oh, he has a psychology degree in Canada? Even better. No wonder he was able to fool the sheeples. The ark is loading now. He says 1, 2, 3. I don't know what this is. AI Beyond Road. Oh, that's the address in Jamaica. Leave immediately dressed in white. PCC registered only now. No, sir. I don't know what PCC registered is, but Lord Jehovah. So there's a bunch of comments here. This guy's asking for answers. They're saying people who attend this church must come out. So, yes, people are easily brainwashed, folks. So that was at 2:07, at 2 o'clock. He talks about now the flood is coming. Go now, run, leave immediately, leave immediately, leave immediately, run. All who were sealed yesterday come now. What does sealed mean? What did he do? How does he seal them? The whole thing is just so incredibly bizarre, folks. I do not know what to make of this. Someone said the people following him foolier than him. So then he attacks. I don't know what this 999 means. I don't know if is that a symbol of, it's like a reversal of the 666, which a lot of y'all believe is the sign of the devil. Is he doing that on purpose? I have no clue. But he says, how do you say this? Haile Selassie, the Rastafarian dude, is not God. I am that I am. So is he trying to say that he is God? Lord Jehovah. He says, I am His Excellency, Dr. Kevin O. Smith, D.M. Min, Crown Bishop, and end-time Nabi of God, conquer Lord Jehovah, of the tribe of Judah, King of Kings, Lord, have mercy. Really, dude? And then other people saying Amen 999. So I'm guessing he refers to himself as 999. I don't know what that means. Oh, yes, here he goes with more predictions. We see the craziness, obvious. He looks like he was really going off on the 17th, multiple posts. Yes, I figured that was the case, Elray, playing on the devil 666. He says, I'm doing a new thing. 999 planes bearing the number 6 will fall from my heavens across Jamaica and the whole world. You see the stupidness that people will believe? Like, seriously? Okay, so he predicts on December the 2nd at 2100 hours, it will 999 destroy 999, the great 999 flankers, 999. What the? Do not travel on that day. Do not go to any barracks on that day or flankers. And he says flanker is a person or thing positioned on the flank of something, a trick or swindle. Really? Well, at least he's trying to educate people with a new word. He certainly pulled a flanker on the army. He even gives an example. Wow. And he goes on and on and on and on and on. Oh my God, this is just crazy. Another post. The boat will sink. Do not go on board. Here you know, he gonna mix up Grand Cayman in this mess. Take your mouth off the Cayman Islands, sir. See here? December the 19th. Non-stop flight between Grand Cayman and Barbados. Take advantage of the more convenient connection to various other Caribbean islands. Oh, this is a Loop Caribbean article that says the Barbados Overseas Association announces Christmas charters to Barbados. And he's saying, apparently he is, I don't know if he's Bajan or what flag this is, or he's from Trinidad, or y'all got to help me with the other Caribbean flags. I got to be honest, I don't know what flag that is. But anyway, he says before it reaches Grand Cayman, traveling from Barbados, all their gold on board is mine and shall be swallowed up for Hebrews, Israelites. Dude, why are you worried about gold? You see the madness and the greed all at the same time? He goes on to say that it's a Roman Catholic sacrifice. So I noticed one thing about him is he's attacking other religions. He's already talked about the Rastafaris not being the real deal. Now he's saying the Roman Catholics are going to be sacrificed. There'll be no survivors. It will sink upon the waters. Just a bunch of craziness. You mean to tell me? I'm sorry. Here's another one. Oh, he was really in a rampage that day. Threw out all dishwashing soap liquid that causes cataract and blindness. Wash with naturally made soaps only. You had a bunch of people actually like this post. Some loved it and a bunch liked it. How many people laughed? There's a few people who laughed. Wash your clothes only with water, no chlorine. We all see the light of the world. We work at nights and sleep at days. Sleep at 6 a.m. Drink lots of water every day. No sodas. Well, I suppose that's a little bit of good advice. I'm trying to give up sodas. Excellency. It's hard. He says originally made from sodium bicarbonate, drunk alone or mixed with alcoholic drink or fruit juice, a whiskey and soda. Yes, the man giving all kind of examples. Soda and pop. I am that I am, he says. Oh, Lord. He just goes on and on and on and on and on and on. On and on and on. And here you have these fools. Amen 999. Really? Who's Maxine? She lives in Montego Bay. Who's Dawn? Lives in Montego Bay as well. None. It says that she works at the PACT Weds International Kingdom Restoration Ministries, and that's the name of this church that they're now calling a cult. My God. How many times the man posted on the 17th? That's at least 10 posts so far. Oh my God. So anyway, apparently he sent out now you see the stupidness here. This is when y'all be forwarding these posts about oh, look at what Bill Gates trying to do to me. Bill Gates wants to yeah. Here you for 1 second. Listen to me. You're worried about Bill Gates, who you've never met and you'll never meet in your entire life, supposedly want to take over the world with a vaccine, when who you need to be worried about is His Excellency Kevin Smith going to his church talking pure foolishness and nonsense. So the man actually tells his followers foolishness like disabling these features on their phones. Oh, disable all sensors. Well, you know why he wanted y'all to not come that day with your phones? Because apparently he told them to leave their phones at home. The reason why he wanted you all to leave your phones at home, see the message here? All members of PACT Weds baptized under my hands only must be present in church this day, October the 18th. All cell phones must be switched off and left at your homes, wrapped in aluminum foil. Y'all so fool. The man is taking you to the slaughter, but he goes on. You will not be able to come in the property otherwise. Okay, then. Some people believe any foolishness. Everything you type on here, type this code at the end, 999. Here, Josephine, another sheeple. These people are really stupid. I'm sorry. Thank you, His Excellence. I will. 999. Augustina says, okay. And look how pretty Augustina is. Check out Augustina picture. My God. You could be so pretty and so fool at the same time. No, sir. I hope this poor little boy is okay. Such a beautiful family. But how can you be so stupid? So she comments and says, amen or okay, 999 foolishness as well. No, sir. There's Maxine again. There's Carl. Says, okay, His Excellency. Thank you, Your Majesty. I mean, did none of these people think for a minute that if you are a believer, he's talking about obeying him. You're not supposed to put anybody before God. These are the false prophets, folks. They're telling you that they're His Excellency, His bishop, your master. What kind of foolishness is this? Get aluminum foil and wrap your cell phones in it. Keep it in there. That signal is what puts you under a spell and makes you sick. My God. How can people be so stupid? It doesn't make any sense. Thank you, Miss Darlene. He has preached here at a church in Georgetown. Say what? I shouldn't be surprised by that. He does mention Cayman, by the way, on more than one occasion. In fact, someone sent me something where he claims that, what was the date on this? He claims that he baptized people from Cayman. My God. See him here? Look at him. Look at this. Yes, sir. Wow. This is the fool that y'all following to death. So, oh, he's an anti-vaxxer too? Oh God, he says, good news. Without us, it will close. Leave Babylon and come. We coming in from the cold. We, the pure blood, stand alone against NCB. Babylon shall fall and go up in a fiery furnace. Mark the words of this Nabi. Is it Nabi? Nabi? Headline will read, NCB engulfed in a fiery furnace. Get your money out. Prophecy. Oh yes, them love a prophecy. NCB facing pushback from workers over vaccine. So there you go. Makes full sense. Hear what this fool said, Maxine. Well said. It is going to fulfill. They're laughing now, but they're going to cry later. Ooh, Maxine child, your words are so profound. Are you crying now? I want message Maxine. Hello. Would love to speak to you about this cult. Yes, you're saying people will be crying later. Well, I'm assuming y'all crying because you realize how close you came to losing your life. Hold on a second now. Let me bring y'all the cold hard truth. Let me show you precisely what was going on. What we know. Hold on, we got interviews from the police. Wow.
Behind us is the scene of it's PACT Weds International Church, where we had an incident last night. A member of this church who had been injured, apparently when she chose to disobey some instructions given to her by the leaders of this organization, reported to the police that she had been injured, and other information that led us to believe that the persons here were at risk. We're aware that 144 congregants had been told to come here. On responding to that report from the person who was injured and coming here, the first teams of police that arrived were shot at, and so they waited on reinforcements to come. We were very concerned that some form of ritualized killing was going to take place here, and so we did an entry last night. We found that there were a couple of people who had been injured by other members of the church. We secured the premises, held the people. I think there were about some 14 children, was it? 14 children there. And we have 31 women now. So we see that as a rescue of these children based on what we saw when we came in. There are cult-like behaviors and cult-like a setup that we have seen here. Now, obviously, further investigations is going to reveal everything. We have a number of people that we're taking statements from, and we have had the scene of the crime people come and process the scene, and we will be updating as we go along. We have 3 people. 3 people are dead. How many do we have in hospital? Right, and 3 persons hospitalized. Following every lead in this investigation, as I say, early days yet. There was a police woman here, and we are processing that as well. We have the CPFSA there and the other services, child services and so on, to determine what should happen with those children and perhaps some of the other vulnerable people in the group. So this has been an effort of many, not just the police, but clearly, you know, the courts are responding, the CPFSA, child services, all of the other entities are responding. But I am concerned about anything like this. Hopefully it's not the start of a wave of it. I don't see any sign of that. But of course it's a cause of concern. They have been on the radar, but not necessarily specifically about what is happening, what happened yesterday. But we got, you know, as soon as it came to our attention, we responded based on what we saw. And I think it was very good, and it's really kudos to Senior Superintendent Ellis and his team, that they took it seriously and moved in the way they did to get this matter resolved. Otherwise, we could have perhaps had more persons killed. Police don't allow or disallow people from carrying out religious activities unless it becomes a crime. We have very little or no real authority to stop anybody from carrying out a religious practice till they start to break the law.
Have individuals who can, in fact, influence people, and those are the ones who, when they are brought to attention, security will have to monitor. Because, as indicated by the Commissioner, the police are not to intervene last night, and in a sense it was an act of good fortune when the lady who was injured came to the police and the police rescued the scene. We could have had far more serious incidents. And the whole question of the right to assemble together and to practice religion is raised, and it's something we'll have to look at. But from my understanding of the current legislation and the Constitution, it was difficult to do anything to stop the events happening. And we have a very strong Constitution dealing with the rights of individuals. Aspects of it should allow you to place more responsibility on individual being held accountable, but we don't have, I think we have not used that or interpreted that aspect of the Constitution very often in the judiciary, what they call the lateral responsibility of individuals. We may have to look at what legislation exists and may be necessary.
Particularly for the parents as well?
Well, just what general individual responsibility, because as I said, especially as it relates to children and there is accountability of parents.
3 persons are dead and 3 others wounded after a stabbing and shooting incident at a religious establishment in Albion, St. James last evening. The deceased have not yet been identified. Reports are that around 7 p.m. residents heard cries for help on the compound and summoned the police. Upon the arrival of the police, a shootout ensued, which resulted in the killing of 1 member of the establishment. When the shooting subsided, a male and female were found on the compound with stab and gunshot wounds. One of the victims' throat was slashed. They were pronounced dead at hospital. A firearm was also seized. A number of persons have been taken into custody, including the leader of the group.
At the end of the shooting, they found somebody, one of the shooters slashed another with a mother. They also found 3 additional persons with stab wounds and gunshot wounds. Those persons were taken to hospital. So at the moment, they took a number of persons into custody to include the leader of the congregation. And they are trying to ascertain exactly what was going on there, what led to these persons being killed.
SSP Lindsay says while there have been reports of the organization being a cult, that cannot be confirmed at this time.
Now, we are looking for the mode of action, but we're not in a position right now to make a declaration as to what exactly they were. We will be guided by the investigation and the interviews that they will get very early. So we know as the investigations, we will get more information. It will become clearer as to what this congregation was about and what is it that they are doing.
Head of the police's communications arm, Senior Superintendent Stephanie Lindsay.
What a hot mess, folks. Wow. Here's another one he posted on October the 13th. He says, "Do not worry, my people. for on the grounds of religious exemption. Again, talking about the vaccine, because remember, a lot of times you can get a religious exemption. So his cult religion would have definitely exempted you from getting the vaccine. He says, you shall be able to travel through the airports, travel through their cities, and meet us in Jamaica. Come on through. The word of the prophet has gone forth, and there is no one on earth that can oppose it. For the angel that holds the four winds, no harm will come until we have prepared. Then he quotes Revelation 7:1 that says, after this I shall four angels standing at the four corners of the earth, holding back the four winds of the earth to prevent any wind from blowing on the land and on the sea or on any tree. Let the scribes arise and write, lawyers and judges of the light rise up. So that's another prophecy. He says, I am the voice of many waters, Revelations 4:2. And he goes on to quote that, and I heard a voice from heaven as the voice of many waters and as the voice of a great thunder. And I heard the voice of harpers harping with their harps. He said, my date of birth is 7. The 7 gifts of the Holy Spirit are wisdom, understanding, counsel, fortitude, knowledge, piety, and fear of the Lord. I met the angel Gabriel at 9. I was foretold to be the end time prophet to the nations at 17 years old. So he's been a little bit loony for a while, it seems like, according to him. But anyway, it's astonishing. His Excellency. He even had a little sign on his desk that says His Excellency. Wow. Let's look at some of the pictures. So apparently he was having access to these people's children, brainwashing the children from the youngest of the young. Here some of the young boys are. I don't know why there's no girls in this pictures look like, but whatever. He also lived a very posh life. It's so interesting. Talking about end times and getting in an ark. Was he really going to leave all this behind? This is his residence, I understand. Look at this. Wow. The man living like a Listen, they said apparently his church was pulling in $1 million. I think it said a week. Now, somebody do the math for me. That's Jamaican dollars, obviously. Can someone tell me how much that is like in US? But it sounds like decent money. There he is, looking good and posh. Dressed nicely. Here he is hanging out with church members. Only one was, well, she has a mask around her neck. She's not really wearing it. But there they are, boy. Following this fool. I mean, the man had a good-sized congregation. Look at the size of this. Lots of people there. Wow, this is his residence? How him live so large? Large and in charge. These are photos that are circulating saying that this is his home in Jamaica. Beautiful. Wow. So this is when the police went in. This is where he does his little recordings and where he preaches to, I guess, some of them. That's about 6,700 Cayman dollars a week. That's good money. This is one that I guess he was still alive. He was injured, but I guess he was still alive. So they took a picture of him. I can't understand why the surrounding area, all these soda cans, all this stuff. Wasn't he the same one who said that they mustn't drink sodas and sugar pop and all this kind of stuff? When I looked at the photos, I was a bit surprised to see all this junk food and it was in complete disarray and everything was on the floor. But this was the knife, quite a big knife. And mid-ear. So as you can hear, what happened was one of the ladies, she did not follow instructions very carefully. So the man said, don't bring your phone. And what does she do? She still brought her phone. So when she realized what was happening, she get afraid and she call 911. There they are, folks. They eventually got put in a little van and taken away by the authorities. So she got afraid and she called for help. 3 dead after having their throats slit during ark boarding ritual. So Tanika Gordon, she's the one who reportedly called the police. No, sorry, she's one of the deceased. Oh, I saw that one, I think. She was covered in that white cloth. The woman who was reportedly sacrificed in a bizarre ritual in St. James on Sunday was testament to the horror that unfolded at the PACT Weds International Kingdom Restoration Ministries in Paradise. Rainbow-themed ritual. Now, stick a pin right there, right? I got to say something about this. But let's take a moment to thank the hardworking people out there conducting the census. Folks, ensure that you participate in the census. It is very, very important for the future development of this country, for the government to know how many people are here and all sorts of other information.
Beginning the 10th of October, residents across the Cayman Islands will be invited to participate in the 2021 census. What is the census? Simply put, the census is a head count of every person living in the Cayman Islands. The population count and data are protected and authorized by the Statistics Act. The information is confidential and cannot be shared with any law enforcement agencies. Your response helps guide business, social, and economic planning for the future of our islands. The 2021 census will inform decisions on how millions of dollars are allocated for roads, schools, hospitals and healthcare clinics, fire, emergency response services, and other programs. Census enumerators will visit your household, ask a few questions like how many people live in your house, including their age and sex. Every person counts, no matter who you are or where you live. So have your say in the 2021 census.
All right, folks. I did mine on Sunday, thanks to the young lady who came by and do the census. It's something that's going to help all of us here in the Cayman Islands. So I was saying that one of the questions that came up was the fact that this man was using a lot of rainbow colors. So if you notice this picture here, in the background, he uses all these colorful colors. Now, some people have said that he was grooming young boys, and they wonder if there was actually a question put to the officers. Was this some sort of homosexuality thing, or what was going on? I thought it was so interesting that that would be the concern here. I'm like, really? Listen, he's a cult leader. He's a narcissist, batshit crazy. Could he also be a pedophile and a child molester? Probably. I don't know. But what does that have anything to do with the gay community? You see, this is where some of y'all are just going to bring up this conversation and be hating on gay people. No, he just liked all these colors. He just liked a bunch of colors. When you see his outfit, he was obviously a very colorful man. I don't think that has anything to do with the gay community. So don't be mixing them up in your foolishness. I'm sure he was preaching brimstone and bricks and whatever else against them. So let's not go there, people. I heard that question last night when I was reviewing some of the material for this interview, and I thought to myself, really? This is where you're going to go with this? These people are just crazy. And listen, this is a mild photo compared to the other dead bodies that we saw. One guy, he was like naked. His little parts dangling, and he's dead on face down, dead on the ground. The bottom line here is do not be foolish. Do not allow people to lead you down a path of destruction because they have some craziness in their head or some ulterior motive. We have people right here in the Cayman Islands, religious affiliations. Somebody just mentioned they have a church down in Swamp. I don't know which church that is. But we hear some stories that wouldn't surprise me if Cayman is the next to have a situation like this. Who sent me the pictures that say he was baptizing people in Cayman? Somebody sent me those pictures this morning. Oh yes, October the 1st. He had put this one up on his page. Oh, did I miss this one? Let me just have a look. October the 1st. He posts so much stuff. Oh my gosh. Like every day. The 13th, he posts some. The man loves social media though. For a man talking about end times, he sure spends a lot of time on social media. I'm not so sure God would be approving of that, but anyway. Lord, the post. Anyway, on the 1st of October, he says that 6 came for baptism today from the Cayman Islands and the USA. They took on the name of Yeshua Aramaic or Yahshua Hebrew, Hamashiach blah, 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 Greek, blah, blah. My apologies, but I don't even know how to pronounce. He says Hamashiach, Hamashiach, Leshush. I don't speak one word of Greek, as you can tell. Don't even know where to begin. So yes, he posted photos of these people coming from Cayman in the USA to be baptized. I wouldn't be surprised. Again, some of them same anti-vaxxers who, I wonder if that young lady, the woman who messaged the other day to say, her helper said she was not going to get vaccinated, so she was going to return to Jamaica. And I said to the employer, I said, well, give her a one-way ticket fast. So here, look at what he posts. Deciphering the code. Everything is about a code and a conspiracy and Lord Jehovah. 268, 280 doses. 1 vial equals 6 doses. Here had a man gone, Lord Jehovah, him mathematician too. Look at how he divide this up into foolishness. 268 divided by 6, you get 44.6. Sir. Really? The randomness of this, it just blows my mind how people just make this stuff up. So he divided again, and he says, oath to Satan 6666, because at some point in the equation, the 666 comes up. Really, dude? First of all, you're not going to sense, because nobody goes that far into the equation. You round it up to a whole number or the first decimal point and be done with it. So most people would say it's 46.7, but no, because he's trying to make a point. He has to really stretch it far. Empire end of October. The inverse, the reverse. Back it up. The triple verse. And look at these fools. Oh my goodness. Is this really going to be happening? This woman actually went to college? What a hot mess. Here, another one. Code 1 + 5 = 6. Sir, do you know how many times 6 just randomly shows up in the world? Like, it is a number. No, what a donkey. 15 years times 12 equals months. 180 months. 180 months as an, this math is making my head hurt. So definitely anti-vaxxer. Boy, he sure sounds familiar. Oh, look, the statement from the Gleaners, another code. Let me decipher it. Jail equals jail. Justly artificial intelligence language. Wow, who makes this stuff up? Just equals a JavaScript testing framework designed to ensure correctness of. Now he a computer expert. No, man. The man not ranked it in the head, none at all. But like I said, he spends a lot of time on social media trying to decipher every single news article in the world. He seems to love loop. He said the devil gives no free gifts. The levels of bribery that we are giving in exchange for free gas. Ay. No, sir. I'm trying to get to the one from the first. Where he talking about people from Cayman going to. Barbados, you opened to the beast. Now they close your airways. Wow. Mm-mm. Oh, he believes in alien invasions too? Oh, he said worldwide government is going to stage an alien attack on the earth across the whole world so that the one world government can come into being to give power to a new ruler. Wow. This is something else. Let me tell you. We're almost at the first, folks, but the crazy is just like it's making me pause every so often. No, sir. Oh my God. Mysterious gunk falls from the sky. So he picks up on that video. Okay. He has a thing against Lady Gaga. Yes, sir. WhatsApp has confirmed that your DNA code is what is being used, simple worded, in the inverse. Oh my God. Then he goes after Facebook when they had the outage. Says they were deleting evidence. Oh my God. Hear this fool, Christine Gordon says, Jesus. You better call on him, yes. Because if you're this stupid, you're going to need him and then some. He says prophecies fulfilling. He has a whole list. Digital money, nanoparticles technology, police state restrictions and enforcement, travel restrictions based on vaccinated status, economic turmoil, threaten to lose your work, so no income. Oh my goodness. Wow. It's crazy. Wow. Anyway, where's October 1st? Sir, why were you posting so much on a platform you claim is the devil? No, man. See him there? Yes, let me hear this one now. This is the Deliverance Temple, Port of Spain, Trinidad. Woo! If y'all go to that one, you better be careful. They might be next. Dry Bones Trinimix. Oh, I love how they can go to church and dance and wind up. Same music, just change the words, and then the Lord is okay with it. What a hot mess. Then he attacks 5G. Not surprised. Oh, Lord, please help me get to the first quickly. My God. My poor little finger aching from scrolling, you know? No, sir. This dude is prolific. Is that the first yet? Oh, the second. We're almost there, good folks. We're almost there. Here, what? Jezebel, what? False prophet. Oh, he has the nerve to call other people a false prophet? No, man. No, this man not easy. Here we go. Oh, still? Jeez, some peace, man. The second. Listen here, man. Where you said division by mark of the beast because this person puts an ad saying that you must be vaccinated. Let me leave this right, sir. Division by mark of the beast. Love of many shall wax cold. Oh, yeah. And here comes Marjorie. They will be just as their master, Satan, who has envied us. It's no wonder Jamaica only has a 5% vaccination rate. Can we please just get to, finally to the first. All right. We're missing now. He started posting. Okay. So this was 11:03 p.m., 10:48 p.m., 10:30. Dude, this guy is sick, yo. Declaration of emergency for Saskatchewan, Canada. Oh my goodness. October 9:44. Man, he loved to chat on social media. 9:43. Dude. 3:49. He must have took a little lunch break between 3:49 and 9:43. 2:41. Here we go. 6 came for baptism today from the Cayman Islands and the USA. They took on the name of Yeshua Aramaic or Yeshua. And then he says, okay. So here they are. Oh, darn. We wanted to see their faces. Who this is coming from the Cayman Islands? Show us who you are. Yes, man. But is this the same house that was in those photos? I mean, the pool looked nice still, but the house looks unfinished in the background. Anybody we can recognize from Cayman in the photo? Now, look at the narcissism and the ridiculousness of it all. The man wearing a hat, and he must have some young man behind him holding umbrella. Do y'all see the ridiculousness? The man really believe he's somebody? Poor child. I feel sorry for the poor children because they really don't know no better. This is the foolishness that they're making these poor children grow up believing. Sure. Anyway, let me read your comments, and I think Miss Heather's going to be ready for us. Enough of this foolish guy and his ridiculousness. Miss Darlene says, I can only use your word, Sandy. What a hot mess. Child, this is beyond a hot mess. Jonathan says the Hebrew Israelites is a group or cult of people that flips the words of the Bible in the most radical ways. I don't know. Jamaica Thing says they do this all over the world. If I remember correctly, there was a similar cult as this in the US and even Guyana. Well, nobody's saying that this craziness is unique to Cayman. Like I said, we got them right here in the Cayman Islands. They might not have gone that far yet. But yes, remember the one in California with the Nikes? They're waiting for a spaceship to come and take them away. Vanessa says, Matthew 7:21, not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, shall enter the kingdom of heaven. What a mess. Fascian says, I hope that the 14 children will never see their parents again. Their parents are evil. Evil, they're just stupid and easily deceived. And when I say stupid, I don't mean intellectually stupid. You know, they're just like sheeple. It's kind of like, it reminds me of, when I was watching this interview the other day from the protesters here in Cayman, when Isadora said, oh, the only doctor I'm ever going to listen to is Dr. T and others. She quickly added, and others. I'm like, well, that don't make no sense. But it's because Dr. T is supporting this anti-vaccination message. So because she wants to hear that message, that's the only doctor she's going to ever listen to. I thought to myself, wow, one day she's going to need another doctor. And I guess she'll be drinking her chicken soup, which she says cures everything. Because what Dr. T is going to tell you, don't have surgery. He's a surgeon. He's performed surgeries on people. Like, I'm just confused at the craziness of it all. Really and truly. I think Miss Heather, we're going to have to reschedule her. She's got something at the Seamen's Association this morning for the elders, the seniors. Louis says, this is what I have to say. Your faith governs yourself, not other people. Vanessa says, not different from the anti-vaxxers leading as many people as they can down the path to death. The Bible teaches that evil exists in the world. Satan has many angels here on earth doing his work. And what I find, to be honest, Vanessa, they're often the biggest Bible thumpers. The irony of that is that the people you need to be the most weary of are the ones who walk around with the Bible under their arms 24/7. The ones who sit down forming Christian associations of hate and want to call it Christian civic groups. They're the ones that I'm afraid of, preaching anti-vaxxer message, hate against people, and other things. Because when I listen to their message, it sounds a lot like the craziness that I'm hearing this bishop man going on with. Irvin says they all knew what they were getting into, traveling miles to attend a special kind of church ritual, red flag. Well, I guess not, because once they saw the killings start to happen, then they were like, oh, well, maybe I don't want to have any part of this. I still value my life a little bit. Oh no, this can't really work. What a hot mess. Leon, thank you. Says, sad case. You would believe in these modern times that people would be more aware. But I guess when you're brainwashed, that's what happens. And, you know, Leon, to your point, I had to think about it as well. Like, I don't know where these people get any sort of life exposure, right? Is it possible that people still live in the dark ages of believing this foolishness because wherever they're at in the world, They don't educate themselves beyond that little town. I don't know. You see, intellectual capacity doesn't necessarily equate to not being crazy or not, being a false prophet or any of these other things. He says he has a PhD or something, right? In psychology of all things. I don't know. It just bothers. I can't figure this out. This makes my head hurt. Miss Sue says, damn voodoo. Gabby's like, I'm just going to sip my tea over here and I'm just going to listen and sip my tea. Giovanni says, fear of the Lord is not a gift of the Spirit. Jamaican Thing says that allegedly he was grooming the males to perform sexual acts on him. Listen, these guys are always in it for themselves. The big house, the fancy cars, $6,700 a week. That's some serious money coming through the church. And the interesting thing about it is I'm sure there's poor people who are giving up all their tithes to this man could probably not really afford it. You know what I'm saying? It's just wrong. Oh, Gio said that I saw him preaching the other day online. Really? So what's going to happen to this guy? Are they going to be charging him with murder? I sure hope so. So here's what happened. Rainbow-themed ritual included 2 days of fasting. It came to a nightmarish end on Sunday as members dressed in white at the Dr. Kevin O. Smith-led cult-like operation, where those considered unclean were reportedly told that their blood had to be shed. Before the ritual could end, the police stormed the Norwood Avenue facility with 144 congregants, including children in attendance, preparing, as they were told, for an ark, his ex-Lee Kevin Smith's ark. Goats, cows, and rabbits were all part of the script, and by 7:40 on Sunday night, 3 people were dead, 2 as part of the sacrifice, and 3 taken to hospital for treatment. So apparently this woman who was a congregant chose to disobey the instructions given to her by her leaders. So yeah, they were going to kill her child. She gave other information which led us to believe that persons were at risk. On responding to that report by the person who was injured, the first team of police arrived and were shot at. Imagine. It's Jim Jones all over again. We were concerned that some form of ritualized killing was going to take place, and so we did an entry, explained the police commissioner. When the police stormed the facility, they found a number of persons who'd been injured by other members of the church and decided to secure the premise. There were 14 children, 31 women. And so we see that as a rescue of these children based on what we saw when we came in. The gleaner showed men bound with cord, some naked, and others with their torso skimpily covered with a piece of cloth. Food strewn all over the ground. Here it is. Now this takes the cake. This is like you got your icing on the cake and you're looking for that little cherry to put on top. This is the cherry on top of the cake. In the midst of the ritual was a policewoman attached to the station in Kingston. Are you kidding me? A police woman? Teachers, tax collectors, soldiers, sales agents, also numbered among hundreds of believers following the man trained in psychology. Smith, reportedly from Glengoff, I don't know where that is, St. Catherine, lived in Canada for 10 years before returning to Jamaica with a doctorate in psychology. Hear what the former member of the church says. He used to heal people, but he has deviated and become radicalized, and as a result, some members left him. This is what a former member said. He used to heal people? Really? Okay. With no proof that any such cultist organizations had sprung up across the island, Anderson said that if that was so, it would be a matter of concern. Well, they thinking this is the only one. They better think again. He says, hopefully this isn't the start of a wave of it. I don't see any sign of that, but of course it's a cause for concern. So this group had been on the police intelligence radar before, not in relation to the Gorish hell which unfolded on Sunday, but for other reasons which they didn't specify. Well, it's a good thing the police went in when they did, because without a doubt, more people would be dead. Oh my gosh, Leon says that he was arrested in Canada for being a pedophile and then deported to Jamaica. He sexually assaulted a boy. Really? Not surprised. And then you just jump up and say, you are His Excellency, Dr. whatever, and, you know, get people to follow you, all in the name of the Lord. Those be the ones, child. They be hiding out in plain sight, right in the churches. That's what they love. I mean, hello. You're giving the man access to your children. You understand what I'm saying? To your little boys. Of course he's got his hands out around them like, oh yes, here's another group that I'll be sexually molesting any minute now. Oh, sicko. My God. Jonathan. 6.6 USD a week, says Aliano. Yeah, that's a lot of money. I'm telling y'all, that's a lot of money. Gabby says mental illness doesn't discriminate. Pastor, doctor, teacher, it doesn't matter. Yes, Gio. Know God for yourself, because these people talking pure foolishness. Talk where your nose says rainbow colored curtains, laughing out loud. Ooh, he was living a good life, it does appear. So Gio says, when he was preaching online, I said, I not listened to him, and I did not know he was like this. So sad. What is this message? Oh, he got tired of too much. Okay. Thank you, Charles. Laurice, good morning. It's time to monitor the number of churches being set up in Cayman as religious organizations for nonprofit. Yes, because believe me when I tell you, of questionable denomination, believe me when I tell you, they have some really weird churches here. And there's a few that Caymanians, some very notable anti-vaxxers, are a part of. And they have all kind of strange names. But for years, people have been taking advantage of this religious status. Tax-free, duty-free, all sorts of stuff. Good life. Pastors driving the fanciest cars in Cayman and living in the biggest homes. Y'all need to be careful with these pastors, trust me. But yes, Louise, I think that, it's a difficult situation because people are free to believe what they want to believe up to a certain point. Obviously, when they start acting crazy and killing people, then that's a different situation. So people have a freedom of consciousness, of thought. So what stops people who think of a similar nature from getting together and calling themselves a religious organization? If the state starts to dictate, well, what is a religious organization, then you know that that's going to be all kind of a hot mess. And you'll have people killing themselves over that. Like they don't want interference by the state, which I don't think there should be. But at some point, the state also has an obligation to protect people. So Ms. Janet says some people are so stupid. They're easy to fool, and they'll give the last dime when they're when these people live like kings. Yes, it's always very ironic. Hi. So Miss Darlene, the census, thank you for that. Yes, there is you don't have a choice really when it comes to the census. You should be completing it. But, I think some people will find a way of trying not to do the census. And I just want to make sure that people understand it's for everyone's benefit. So Leon says he was known to be gay. A gay preacher in Jamaica with all those followers? He might have been gay on the down low, but he wasn't telling nobody that. What a hot mess. Yeah, the whole thing is weird. I know. I saw the one naked man that was killed. Unbelievable. So I guess he'll be facing murder charges. We'll have to wait and see how this falls out. So in other news around the region, this is Caribbean Connection Wednesdays. There's a man in Jamaica. What part of Jamaica was he in again? Who, oh yes, here's another interesting article. This one says 39-year-old Tanika Gordon, who was killed during a religion in Montego Bay. Her brother says that her throat was slashed in a sacrifice at the Pathways International Kingdom in Paradise, Montego Bay, St. James. Said that his sister was having misgivings about Bishop Kevin O. Smith. They said that they were still in shock as a family. They're trying to process the brutal manner in which she was killed. They said she was very humble, hardworking, believed in God, but since she's been attending that church, it looks like she got controlled by the pastor. Sad. So it doesn't look like he did the killings himself. It says at least 2 had their throats slashed by a male church member. A third person reportedly died as the police stormed the location to bring an end to the bloody affair. So it'll be interesting to see what charges flow from this. So up until yesterday, there have been no charges laid for the deaths. But the church leaders in police custody and other members of the congregation. I think that they should definitely charge him for the murder of these individuals as well. The Gleaner did a whole article on, it says Kevin O. Smith's social media footprint. We were just looking at his Facebook page. It's a lot. So it says that he enjoys a commanding presence in social media. Well, I don't know about commanding, but I guess for his followers. Which posts detailing his objection to, amongst other things, mandatory vaccination and likening it to buggery. But I thought y'all said the man gay. So he's a download brother. Because if he's likening to that, that means that he was preaching that he was against that kind of behavior. What a mess. He says that he was the youngest Jamaican-born bishop in Jamaican's church history, claiming that it made him a respectable and recognized global influential force and world leader throughout the Christendom and the corporate sphere. What a hot mess. Anyway, let's leave the crazy alone for a minute. Thank you, Leon. Oh, Lord have mercy. Facian says there's another church near to it that does these things. Leon says the church in Swamp is All Nations, Bishop Dolbert Clark. Child, I mean, I know nothing about them people down in Swamp. Hello, Al. How are you? Says religion and Christianity, the same thing, a cult, believing the Bible. It's the same practice. Wow. What? A man has set up, thank you, Carla. A man has set up a GoFundMe page to help him with his legal fees. Woo! The crazy just never ends. Yes, Peterkin, trust me. But you know, when it comes to in the name of religion and God, you see some of the craziest things, I must be honest. Cameron says if he is so in-depth with numbers. White Aras, he don't prophesize what numbers are going to drop on cash pot. I look at a revelation now. What number can drop on Sunday? Maybe it's going to be 999. Is there a 3-digit cash pot? I don't know how cash pot works, but you can pick single digits. What does it go up to? So maybe the number 9. Jonathan says, trust me, you should see some of the math people use when they're buying a number off a lottery. They use every symbol in the book for a number. Oh God, what a mess. Soka, what's up, my friend? She says he definitely had too much time on his hands. Ay. Oh, you can't find the page? Here you go. Let me give you the link, Soka. There, go and have a look at what he was posting. I mean, like I said, he was very prolific at everything. If he's married, I don't know. No clue. That seems to hardly matter at this point. Jamaican Thing says, I'm glad they decided to post this news to the public. If it had happened here in Cayman, they would have covered it up and pretended like it didn't happen. Oh, no. Jamaican Things, come on now. Them kind of things not getting covered up in Cayman. Oh, no. Oh, my God. Look at his page. Look at this. I clicked on his photos, and I'm scrolling down, and look at what he picked up. The Compass article by Rejma about Cayman teen recovering in Miami after rare diagnosis. The man sitting on there following Cayman news. And of course, he would have loved that story of poor little Jacqueline being diagnosed with the Guillain-Barré syndrome, because that supports his anti-vaxxer mentality. Wow. Oh, look. Yes, sir. That was October 9th. What a mess. Oh, he's into the astrophysics and stuff as well? Wow. Oh, he's obsessed with numbers, apparently, with the number 666 and 999. Oh, here's another compass one. Oh, he loves the compass. Surprise, surprise. And he loves Loop. He's quoted Loop a couple times. Thank God I haven't seen CMR. Please don't let me see CMR on the man page. Let me keep scrolling a little bit. Like, please. Don't make Ma Road show up in the craziness. Oh, thank you, Jesus. Anyway. Yes. Lots of craziness around the world. So listen. Sandra's having a ball pronouncing the gossip tongue speak. Listen, I'm just Good morning, Miss Rosemary. The cows are still at the Obia Church. Oh, yes. Did you guys see the video of the man drinking from a goat? I think it's a goat head. Did y'all see that one? I think I can share that because that wasn't, I mean, if you're going to be offended by somebody drinking blood from a goat head, now would be the time to not watch. But let me see if I can share that one. That one is just weird. All right, here it is. Mm-hmm. Billy. Brian. All right, sick and more sick. So I guess that's what he had his people doing. I don't know. Rhonda says, good morning, Sandy. Do we know that many caregivers for our children and our elders do not have the vaccine? And they say that they're not taking it. I think our government and public health should have them removed and pack them back from wherever they come from. Well, this is an interesting discussion. And you know what, Miss Rhonda, let's talk about it tomorrow, because there's a broader question here. And I've had a few people ask me this about, do you have a right to know? Let's talk about that tomorrow, Rhonda. It's a very, very good question. We're almost out of time here, so I want to give it sufficient time as a point of discussion. Thank you, Louis. Thank you guys so much. Cece says the whole thing is sad and disgusting, and I don't understand if it was children he was fooling, but these are hard back people. Good morning, Ravona. Vanessa says even Satan quoted Bible verses. Yep. What a mess. The line between being radicalized in the name of religion sometimes seems like a very thin line for me. Like when I see people talking, I'm just like, you know, it's a very thin line indeed. Hot mess. All right, so there's a seniors. Let me just see. I'm trying to find my phone. Give me 1 second here. Where did I put my phone today? I'm trying to find the seniors flyer at the Seamen's Association. I think I left my phone in the other room, you know. So folks, if you are a member, if you're a senior citizen, you will definitely be interested in this today. And then I've got another really big announcement coming up here. So there's Memory Cafe. Oh, yes, it was by email that I saw this. Hold on 1 second. Let me just pull up the email. So this is seniors. You guys can participate in this. Starts today, and it's the first and third Wednesdays of every month at the Seafarers Hall. So let me just see here. So good people, take your seniors out. You know, they need to enjoy themselves, and nothing better than a good outing, some good activities. Here we go. They'll do a whole bunch of activities here, folks. So everything from, if you're a first-time attendee, you can contact the Alzheimer's Association at 924-4170. But they have sing-alongs, storytelling, chair exercises, arts and crafts. They serve a light lunch. They do have some protocols for COVID in place. And there's a whole schedule of events. So make sure that you come out. So October is Older Persons Month, and there is a schedule of church services. I'm going to post this up for you guys to see here in a bit that you can participate in and take your seniors out to. So here's the schedule. I'll put it up on Facebook, so it's probably a little bit easier to read. All right. So yes, that Miss Heather unfortunately had some technical difficulties, and then she actually had to run to this event. So maybe I'll stop by and say hi to some seniors. Sounds like a good plan. Paul, good morning. Good morning, Alice. Jonathan. Jonathan is such a joker. Cece says, oh, he looks familiar, child. Has he been to Cayman? Okay, one very, very important announcement. We are looking for a man. Listen up, folks. We are looking for a man. Hold on now. Let me pull up the picture and the evidence of who he is. This is not a real man, but he tried to burglarize an elderly lady's house. Look at him. We've got video footage. Oh, he can get caught here now on CMR, because I know somebody's going to know him of the 300 people watching. Oh, yeah. Off of Crew Road, this elderly lady had this man trying to break into her house. And the police have been notified. He tried breaking in this morning. And here he is. You guys ready for this? I know that y'all can identify this boy, whoever he is. Somebody going to jail. That's what I know. Here we go. Who is he? All right, folks, call us with a name. Who is this fella? Very distinctive looking eyes. Tried to break in some elderly people. Oh no, honey child, that can't go so. Trust me. Ay. Wow. If you know who he is, he probably came in, child. He came in to me. Richard wants to know what his nationality is. Came in, probably a Georgetowner. Who is this now? Oh, we have another protester in town with a sign up. Oh, okay. Another crazy on the loose. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be able to protest people, but these protesters like Lavelle and them, they're getting kind of out of hand now. We're sitting back allowing this foolishness to happen. And it's really starting to look bad. Well, here's another one out there trying to give Lavelle competition, it looks like. But he not got no competition, her my love, because he not dancing and twerking and in heels and shorts. So he says, want life, meet Jesus. Our poor beloved Cayman Islands. What a mess we are in. Someone says he long with Nelly, daughter for Teresa. This one came on this boy. Checked by Steve Shop, Spanish. His name is Aaron, married to a girl from Dog City. Helen's son Damien brought him an island long ago. Another marriage of convenience. Oh Lord, what a hot mess. I don't know who these people are. I just know that the crazy seems to be expanding. Yes, somebody just mentioned no booty shorts. Not yet, but who knows? He might realize that that's what he's got to do to compete with Lavelle and get some attention. Beautiful people, it is Hump Day Wednesday. We didn't even get to discuss so there's a man on the loose in Jamaica abducting children. I think he's abducted, is it 2 or 3 so far? There was a 9-year-old, a 13-year-old. Thank God both of those are found safe. He is, I think, 42 years old or something. And so the community is looking for him. And from what I understand, he will be on the wanted list of the police. He's abducting these girls, and they don't give a whole lot of information, but it seems like he's sexually molesting these little girls. So, what a hot mess. He's wanted. His family in the area had to leave because, of course, the families in Jamaica were starting to threaten them over his actions, which is sad because, you know, they may not have anything to do with it. Just because you got a crazy person in the family, not like, you know, you wouldn't necessarily have anything to do with it. So yes, he's been abducting children all over in this area. Wow. And then in Haiti, they had kidnapped an entire group of missionaries, of Christian missionaries. Some, was it 17? Hold on, let me go back now. I think it was 17. Yes, U.S. missionaries kidnapped in Haiti. So they've kidnapped a group of 17 missionaries, including 16 Americans, affiliated with Ohio-based Christian Aid Ministries, and they were kidnapped by a gang in Haiti on Saturday. So they were on their way home from visiting an orphanage. This group called the 400 Maus. What? Y'all really trying to get me tongue-tied today. Mauzu Gang. Mauzu Gang. Mauzu Gang is behind the kidnapping and the near the capital, Port-au-Prince. So they have kidnapped 5 men, 7 women, and 5 children. Wow. The Christian Aid Ministries helps to pay for school tuition, uniforms, textbooks, and meals for Haitians. And this is the thanks that they get. So they're actually asking $1 million per person. Apparently, this 400 Mauzu gang is known for mass kidnappings from buses and cars. So the kidnappings have been on the increase since the earthquake. I guess they need money, criminals. And the assassination of their president earlier in the summer. Haiti has one of the highest rates of kidnapping in the world. More than 600 kidnappings recorded in the first quarter of 2021, compared to that same period last year, where they only had 231. And we've actually shown you a video before where they kidnapped a poor little girl in Haiti whose mother doesn't even, I mean, they were like demanding, I forget what it was. It wasn't necessarily a big amount, but the woman's like, I'm a poor Haitian. I don't make that money at all. And then they raped and dumped the little girl, you know, close to her house. I mean, it's just disgusting. And it's horrible. What can I tell you? Well, don't go to Haiti, I guess. I don't know. So one of the, this guy who's founder and publisher of the Haitian Times told a CBS News correspondent that this is one of the reasons why it's such a tragedy to have these people deported back. There's no functioning government and the gangs rule Port-au-Prince and the country at large. Well, what do you mean deported back? You want other countries to have to deal with your mess, your citizens, and keep them? Child, I would deport them too. Anyway, you guys have a wonderful day. Again, if you recognize this young man who is wanted for trying to break into little old lady's house, by all means, DM us and let us know who he is. And one final photo of Bishop, His Excellency. Look at him. Getting a kiss from none other than, anybody guess? Former Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller kisses the cheek of Bishop Kevin O. Smith in this undated photo posted through the church's Facebook account. I tell ya, can't make this stuff up. There you have it. They love to schmooze with politicians. Not surprised. Helen says, what is your favorite beverage? It should be water. I don't know. Iced tea. All right, good people. Please have a wonderful day. Be safe. Don't go out there believing everything that people tell you. Sheep in wolves' clothing. No, wolves in sheep's clothing are all over the place. Believe me, you. Be smarter than them. Stay away from the craziness.
Census 2021. Census. Came and get ready. Census. Starting 10th of October 2021. Census. West Bay, you ready? Census. East End, we coming. Census. Everyone will be counted. Census 2021. Census. But in town, are you ready? Census. Georgetown, we coming. Census. Your info will be secret. Northside, get ready. Census. Rockers will be counted. Census. Little Cayman, we coming. Census. People, get ready. Census 2021. Census. Todos se cuentan. Census. Latinos serán contados. Filipinos macanda. 2021 census. Papa, are you ready? Census. Mama will be counted. Census. Children and toddlers. Census. 2021 census. Information is secret. Census. 2021 census. Starting October 10th. 2021 census. 2021 census. Census. 2021 census. Everyone counts.
Thank you for tuning in to another edition of The Cold Hard Truth. Make sure to check Facebook for showtimes and more information and the latest news at CaymanMarlRoad.com. Subscribe to our IG and Facebook pages to get the latest happenings.